welcome to another episode of the Love Series. So, for those who is new to this channel, my name is Hannah and I'm an authorized life coach from YB12 Coach Australia and owner of my own business, LifePeak Coaching. So, today's episode, we're going to talk about 10 questions that men want answered about women. So, we're going to run them down today, and I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I know there's a lot of curiosities around or surround about women. There's a lot of books that have been written about it. So we're going to look at those 10 questions that I've seen repeatedly been asked over the internet. So the very first one is, after thousands of years, why haven't women realized that we don't pick up on subtle hints? I know that women talk more with their nonverbals, and it's something that even I practice, but not as often. Well, I hope to verify with my boyfriend that I don't, and he said that I'm not too subtle about it. I'm actually very expressive. So, so I'm a very expressive person, and it came from experience actually. Years back, I think it's about 6 years now, I had a fight with another guy back in college, and I realized that I wasn't communicating. So the feud went a long time, a couple of weeks to a month, and if I only talked about it, what was going on, we could have resolved it so easily and so fast. And so what I've learned is that regardless of your gender, if it's man or woman, you have to be very vocal on what you want, because not everyone would know what you're thinking. No one would. We're not fortune tellers. We're not even all psychics. So, you have to really express yourself, what you want, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, because the other person needs you to spell it out for them. Even me, I also cannot just like rely on how my boyfriend's mood is or how my family's mood is. They have to tell me, because sometimes you're too caught up in your own world that you don't really, become more. You're not sensitive to other people's needs. And so they really need to be upfront with you and tell you, hey, I'm feeling like this. So don't be afraid to be upfront about it. It's normal, and honesty is, I think, the most important to have in a relationship. Number two, are you seriously expecting an honest reply to "does this make me look fat"? Okay, one, I'm fat, so I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I don't remember I've asked this to Noel before, or if I have, I actually am the one telling myself that I am fat. So it's not gonna be something like an issue. So if a woman actually asks you this question, it's a very dangerous situation to be put in. One, if you do say that she's fat, she'd be upset with you. Two, if you don't tell her the truth, she's gonna tell you you're lying, and it's still gonna end up, arguing about this. So, for me, if ever you're put in this situation, I think you can do two things. One, you ask the question back at them. Do you think you're fat? Because that makes them, why are you asking me this question, right? So, it's gonna be like just a back and forth of question until you don't really answer the question. Or number two, you can just totally ignore the question and bring up another topic. Like if your friend or girlfriend asks you like, oh, do I look fat? Oh, this dress looks amazing. So just switch it up, change the topic so you be able to get out of that situation. Three, why can't you decide where you want to eat? Is there too many choices? You like all dishes known to man? You can tell the difference, so please do tell me. So, one, if I look at it from my personal experience, I don't have a difficulty answering where do I want to eat, because sometimes I do have my own cravings and my boyfriend also has his own, and we're pretty much clear on where we want to do. Sometimes the only time that we feel like this if we've already saturated all the restaurants inside the mall, which happens whenever we're in Trinoma, in Fairview Terraces, or SM Fairview. So that's where it all happens. But I commonly I think for Filipinos that whenever we're in the office or we're going out with friends and we ask, oh, where do you want to eat? And then someone would say, oh, whatever. And funny enough, there is a restaurant that's called Kahit Saan, and you can look it up if you want. That totally, answers your question where you should eat. But I don't think we're indecisive. Sometimes we get cravings, and this is very prevalent among women. We do have cravings, especially when we're about to have our period. So if we're indecisive on where we want to eat and you already have something in mind, then please, by all means, just drag us there, and we'll just, of course, there's a trade-off on that. If you ask us that, oh, do you want to eat in this Chinese place? And then she says, oh, I don't really like that. So just, if ever you're going to a mall and you know all the restaurants inside the mall, just enumerate everything, and then maybe she'll figure it out one way or another. Number 4, what do you store in your handbag? Seriously, there seems to be an item for every occasion. So I used to think even my mom has this really tiny bag, but then she has tons of things in there, like from medicines to band-aids to wet wipes to sometimes even things that you wouldn't expect, like safety pins, those kind of things. And women are known to have their well completed bag. But for me, what I've done this past year is I actually reduced the amount of things in my bag for health reasons. I can't have a really heavy bag because I have bad knees and I have been having difficulty walking. So it's a conscious decision to remove some stuff that are not something that I use daily. But generally, why we have in every occasion: 1, we personally need them; 2, other people need them. So for example, I remember I started carrying, I think, headache medicine. I always now have an Advil in my bag. 1, because my boyfriend gets a lot of migraines, and then 2, I also do need it too. So there are things that you start carrying because, of course, you also just not be looking after yourself, but you're also looking for other people. So I think that's one general reason why we have so much shit in our bags. So that's my only reason for it. Number 5, can you please also take charge in a relationship? I, as a guy, don't want to be responsible for every single thing that happens between us. Alright. Good question in this one, because I think there's a general misconception that women likes to be just be led, and some women do. I won't generalize people or women like has the same personality as me, because for me, I like to take charge of my relationship. I'm somewhat strong opinionated. I have strong opinions. I have to ask my boyfriend if he agrees. And he's nodding his head that I do have. I'm very passionate. There are things that I'm very passionate about, and I don't really let it up until I get my point across. So I do take charge of how my relationship goes. I'm very vocal, as I've already said earlier. I'm a very expressive person. I'm not saying all women are similar to me. There are some that takes time or is not really very vocal about your situation, especially if you're in an Asian family. So known for Asians that we're very conservative and we like to keep our emotions or our thoughts to ourselves. So it's not something that comes with who you are. It's a skill that you have to develop, and you really have to push yourself out there to be more vocal. I was the same couple of years back when I was starting to date, but then I realized, how can I find the guy who is for me if I am not honest and forthcoming on what I want? So I think this is where your standards comes out, and this is where your values are also expressed, and how much you tell other people, especially your partner, of what you want and what you think and how you feel. So I think it relies on you developing this skill if they feel that it's very important in your relationship. But in our case, I believe that my boyfriend, do you appreciate this trait? Okay, he does. So a good thing then that we're very forthcoming when it comes to this. And also, don't shy away from taking charge of your relationship, especially if it's going on a wrong path and it's something that you don't want to do and you're not comfortable. Then please, 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 please do tell your partner, do tell the person you're in a relationship with that you're not comfortable, and there might be some other workaround that you both can actually do. Number 6, why do you go to the bathroom in groups? Okay, when I asked my boyfriend about this, he said, "Oh, really? Why do you actually? Why do you really go on groups?" So, for everyone's, I think everyone knows about this, that women loves to gossip and we really chit chat a lot. So we do it also in the bathroom. So sometimes it takes us a lot of time before we actually get out of the bathroom, because other than putting stuff on our faces or retouching or just washing our hands, we're actually talking about a lot of things, from boyfriends to general things. We talk about anything and everything inside the bathroom. That's why it takes time. And maybe that's the reason we also want to do it in groups. Second, there are people who are just clingy. I know some part of my group of friends are clingy, and you know who you are, so I'm not gonna mention your name. So it's a general practice, I believe. Or some women just want to do it. Like, for example, why do my mom, my sister, and I go to the bathroom together? Like when we're in the restaurant and we're about to leave. So it's just to avoid feeling you have to go and pee when you're actually driving for a long time. So that's why we do it in groups, because we're about to leave already. So you have your own reasons why you do it. But for me, generally, when I'm in the office, it's just more of like chit chatting, or you just like having a company to talk with while you're brushing your teeth. It may not make sense for some people, but maybe it makes sense for us. Alright? So that's why. Number 7. When you look at me a bunch of times, the guy, but never when I look back. What does that mean exactly? Am I a freaky, fascinating subject to talk about with your girlfriends later? Or is my shirt on backwards or something? Or are you just checking me out? And if so, why do you look away like you're totally not interested when I look your way? Alright, bottom line, women are checking you out. Generally, if we look at you and then we suddenly look away, but when we caught you or actually suddenly looked our way, we are definitely checking you out. And I stare at you very, very.
You're scary.
I just stare at you. When I'm checking you out, I just let you see that I am checking you out. So, but generally, if a woman is looking at you, but then she will look away and pretend that she's not interested, she just doesn't want to get caught, okay? So, if you feel like you have to approach her, maybe there's like a 50-50% chance that she's very interested in you. So just go and be brave and approach her, get her number, go out, have fun. Number 8. Why is it that guys have to pretend not to be interested in you, women, for you to like them? In my experience, the less interest you show to a girl, the more she wants you. It doesn't make sense to me. I like you, okay? Why do I have to pretend that I don't? Okay, I think this is a very big misconception. It's painted by media, movies, romance books, television novels, that women like men who are not interested with them. So, no, we want to see that you're actually very interested in us, but then there's a thin line of interested, you're interested in us, and obsessively interested. So there's that's a creepy part, and this is like the normal one. So we have a level of interest to another person, and we have to, it's like an onion. You do it layer by layer. Right? So you show interest, see what you're gonna deal with, and then once you see that she's responding, And then the next thing that you can do is that to expand the things that you're doing. So from texting to maybe calling her, have a surprise call, or and the next level is that you ask her out, have a dinner, lunch, coffee, and then you build your momentum from there. So don't don't look at it like if we're not interested to us, we'll pursue you, because women also have insecurities. Women also think that if we show interest in you, we'd probably get rejected. So I think it's a both ways. Men also feel the same way, and there's also a pressure on men to always make the first move. So you're also afraid of getting rejected, right? So just do it layer by layer. Do it as comfortable and sense. Okay, here we go again. Sensing. But then just outright ask her if she's comfortable doing this with you. Is she okay talking with you at a specific hour, etc., etc. So just make sure that you show the right amount of interest. So when you say right amount, is the level of comfortability you and your person of interest are gonna have. Number 9. When should we give up on chasing you? When we're no longer interested. I think that sums it up. But sometimes some guys don't really just get it, and we have to do some extreme measures about it. But just bottom line, if she doesn't answer your calls totally, like 3-5 days straight, and she's not, maybe she unfriended you. I mean, there's all sorts of things now that's being done to show you that she's not interested. So stop chasing her if she's no longer showing the same interest to you. And two, and I think this is the most important point, if you're just no longer interested with her, right? So why keep chasing someone who's not gonna be with you? It's gonna be just a futile attempt. Just go on and move on. Find another girl. Okay. Number 10. What should be a woman's role in a relationship? Alright, and this actually is varies per person. And so I'm gonna express what I think a woman's role in a relationship should be. We have a lot of stereotypes on the role of a woman in a relationship. But I think whatever is the role of the man will be somehow translated to the role of the woman. So there's a conservative look. One is men are the providers, women are the nurturers. But how modern our society is right now, I think this kind of stereotypical role has blurred over the years. So for me, the role of a woman is to support her partner. I know that some men are having some difficulty when it comes to their emotional expression, and I feel that women can help on those. So you would be the emotional strength of your partner. Third, another role that woman is to keep things, because I think we're more organized in a way, but I guess it depends on the relationship who's more organized. Because me, when it comes to my things, I'm not organized. He's organized, and I have more organized thoughts. So that's my contribution to the relationship. But then all over. So for me, just generally is to balance out your partner. So what is the role of a woman in a relationship? It's to balance out your partner and vice versa. What is the definition or the specifics of a woman's role in a relationship? It's determined by you and your partner. I cannot say should be a woman's role. It depends on the characteristic, the personality, and what kind of relationship you have. Alright? So I think that's already our top 10, actually. Top 10 questions that men answered, and I hope you found it enlightening, insightful, and somehow funny. And I hope you had fun in this video. So if you do like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and do hit that subscribe button so that you'd be updated on every video that we're gonna come out soon. Alright? So if you have any life related questions or love related questions, please do DM us or PM us at LifePeak Coaching Facebook and Instagram, or email us at lifepeakcoaching@gmail.com. So on to our next episode, and I'll see you guys around. Bye!